Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups, limited beliefs, and relationships. And today we're going to get into a go one. Highly sensitive people. Have you met some? Some people call them empaths. I think empath is a different thing because it's a different word. I've dealt with relationships with people like this. You don't know you're in it till later on. And it's one of those things opposite of the hot term of narcissism. I don't know if people really talk about this a lot, being in a relationship with someone that's highly sensitive. And it's different. It's different. It's going to provide some issues in the relationship that aren't issues in the beginning, because highly sensitive people have a lot of benefits when they come to relationships because they feel deeper, they express feelings, they show love faster, they get to the point where they're all in a little bit quicker. And an empath on the other side of that, it's a bigger word, right? So highly sensitive would fit with or under an empath, and they kind of weave together. So I'm going to talk about both of them today without saying one is much different than the other, because a highly sensitive person can mean many, many different things. But we're going to get a little more detailed into it today for sure. So if you want to book a live coaching session with myself, go to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. If you want to send your story in to get unpacked in a live stream like today, also writemac.com. And every day this week we'll be on at 10 a.m. We got some cool topics this week, so check that out. And today, the quote of the day, which I'll maybe review at the end of the session, is: people that are highly sensitive are people that feel things much deeper. They express themselves more deeply. They love deeper, but also can jump to conclusions and accuse you of not caring enough in a relationship, of not loving enough. For them, they can't always understand how you're not showing as much love, care, and effort as they do. They will say things like, "You just don't care." Or they will start a lot of sentences with, "I feel like," or better yet, "I feel like you." They lead with feelings. And if you lead with an analytical mind or a mix of both, they get thrown off and can accuse you of not putting in enough time and care in the relationship. The reality is that they don't really understand that you don't operate on feelings alone. They don't fully get this. And the reason is they don't know that others don't see the world like them. In the end, we all feel like everyone sees what we see. And in this case, highly sensitive individuals in relationships cannot understand how you don't feel the way they do. Right? Now, I'm going to break this down a little deeper. But before we get to that, think about it this way. Do you ever come across people and you think, "How is this person such an idiot?" That would be saying, how does this person not think like I do? How are they doing something so stupid? Right? For people that are highly sensitive, it's a feeling thing. How did this person not understand how much they were going to hurt the other person? How did this person did not understand how much they were going to upset the other person? It's not a strategy thing. It's not a thinking thing. It's not analytical. And so when they get into relationships with people that aren't like that, they get frustrated because a majority of the population in this day and age, probably 70 to 80%, are not going to lead with feelings. They're going to have moments of feelings, but because we're not as connected with nature, we're in 9-to-5 jobs, the world, the way it's structured now, doesn't welcome that as much. A lot of people hide their feelings. So individuals that are like this, they love and receive very well, but then they can't understand why you're not like them. And this is just a theme for all living human beings a lot of times, because we just don't understand. Why don't you see the world the way I do? It frustrates them. All right, so let me unpack this a little deeper. Empaths are highly sensitive individuals who have a keen ability to sense what people around them are thinking and feeling. Psychologists may use the term empath to describe a person that experiences a great deal of empathy, often to the point of taking on the pain of others at their own expense. So to me, empaths are highly sensitive individuals, but it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper term. And they have that sixth sense where they can sense what people are thinking and feeling around them. Now, being a coach for years and dealing with people in breakups, I've had clients go, wow, you're a real empath. Okay, I take that as a compliment. I'd say it's true, but I'd also say that you can put on your empath cap when you're dealing with someone that's going through something, right? Now, there are some people that have it on all the time, right? So, number one, highly sensitive people are sometimes called empaths also. I believe that this is a bit different than just a highly sensitive person. So I'd say separate the two terms, but I'd also say that empaths are highly sensitive people. Okay, so it weaves together. Number two, beware of the highly sensitive person that leverages their dramatic feelings to get what they want, or worse yet, finds some rationalization that they made up to elicit more feelings out of you, or worse yet, make you feel guilt for hurting them. So this is kind of a worst case scenario in a relationship with a highly sensitive person. This would be a disadvantage to that. Doesn't mean all highly sensitive people or empaths in relationships do this. But if this resonates with you when you're watching this video later on, please put it in the comments if you've had an experience that was negative with a highly sensitive individual in a relationship. So, for example, I had a client whose girlfriend, whom was highly sensitive, would constantly create scenarios to test her boyfriend's level of love for her. And she even told him, I like to test you. If it didn't measure up, she'd accuse him of something that would then force him to defend himself. So in one scenario, this guy's best friend had come over to watch a ball game and have some beers. He was telling me about this in a live coaching session. His girlfriend was fine around the friend. But when he left, she'd accuse him of not caring about her and putting his friend above her. So a lot of highly sensitive people will rank who you feel the most about because they want to be number one. They strive for that. Saying that he cared about his friend more than her. Okay. Caring is a big deal to a highly sensitive individual because they care so much. Then this guy would start the cycle of explaining how much he loved her, which is what she wanted, right? And then he was overreactive to the situation. In the end, she'd keep getting that reinforcement of him giving her that hit of total attention. Do you know what I mean by that? So she throws a guilt net on him. Oh, you were talking to your friend the whole day today. You didn't even pay attention to me. It was like I wasn't there. La-di-la-di-la. And then he goes, no, you know I love you, this, that. Now she got what she wanted. So now she's got a playbook that every time she wants to get attention, she'll go for the kneecaps and accuse him of not caring and then give an example of it whenever he's with someone else. So this is how playbooks develop in the relationship. And I'm not saying all highly sensitive people do this. I'm saying this is an example of when it doesn't work or when it is bad, and that sensitive individuals tend to go down this route. In the end, she'd keep getting reinforced by him giving her that hit of total attention. This cycle would go on till he finally broke up with her, where she then accused him of being gay. This guy wasn't gay, and secretly loving his best friend, which was completely false. But she carried on with this type of rationalization to rationalize the reason for him not showing her enough care and breaking up with her. So instead of saying like, you've been accusing him of not caring for so long, he's finally had enough of proving that, she had to come up with a reason that was outside of that realm, right? That she knew would generate feelings from him. So she goes and tells him, well, I know you're gay and you love your best friend, and that's why you want to break up with me. He's telling me the story. He's like, this is not true. This isn't even true. So here's the crazy thing. You were rationalizing any time before when your buddy came over and she accused you of not caring about her before, that you had put your friend first. So now she goes for a little bit bigger carrot, no pun intended. She goes to something that she knows is going to get your attention post breakup. And then he says, and then he explained that this wasn't true. And she entangled him once again on his back foot. She brought him into the situation deeper by bringing up a topic, an accusation that he felt like he had to respond to. And now she's got his attention again. Okay. Number 3, if you want to identify those that are highly sensitive, then just listen to the way they talk and ask questions. Now, you can use this format for learning most people if you're a good listener. So instead of how are you, they might say, how do you feel? Seems very subtle, but you'll notice that because they lead with feelings. They will also question your level of love or care because they feel that they are giving more, which in many cases is true. They don't realize that love can be conveyed differently for different people. So a lot of times a highly sensitive individual will want touch, hugging, will want you to show in public how much you care about them, will want extra time on the couch with your arms wrapped around each other. And if you're not like that and you're with a highly sensitive person, they take it personal. But what they don't realize is there's individuals out there that grew up just not being that way. They're not touchy. They're not hand holders. If you're not like that and you're with a sensitive individual, they get really upset, right? So like I said, identifying someone like this, they will ask questions like, how do you feel rather than how are you? Different question, correct? So number 4, in a lot of cases, they've had some sort of trauma where they lost someone close to them or were highly neglected. In this case, they should seek therapy to become more aware of where those feelings stem from. You've heard of people feeling they're not enough. This can be a case of you never love me enough. It's different. See how that translates different? There's a big theme out there. Well, I don't feel like I'm enough. I don't feel like I'm good enough. In this particular case, a lot of highly sensitive individuals in relationships, it's more like you don't love me enough. It's not I'm not enough. It's you don't love me enough. And what happens if you love the person, you want to say, yeah, I do love you. I do love you. Constantly in this cycle of proving your love. And they're constantly grasping items and things and situations to put you on your back foot to prove it. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you're not going to equal their love. 5, the positive side of highly sensitive people. And I wanted to say, seems like I'm being really negative with these examples. I deal with breakups a lot of relationships issues. So I see the negative sides of this. There's absolutely positive sides of being with a highly sensitive individual or an empath. Absolutely. Okay. They can be a great anchor during rough times. They will listen when you're going through something really tough because they've probably been through it before. They'll listen with compassion and empathy. They tend to be loyal in most relationships. They will put you first and really care about making you feel good. That can be a variety of different things because feelings come first for them. I'm going to come back to this. You don't realize it, but in a lot of our societies this day and age, feelings aren't first. It's how to think something. It's how to strategize, right? And this is what we struggle with out of a breakup or a bad relationship, getting fired from work, a fight with a family or friend. We don't want to talk about the feeling part. We want to talk about, well, you did this wrong. We want to come and build a case of reason and logic, which has a place. But feelings count too. And so when you're in a relationship with one of these people and you start using your analytical mind, your strategic mind, or if you're the opposite and you don't show feelings at all, sometimes actually these two individuals can be attracted to each other because they offset the lopsidedness of someone in this situation. So that a lot of times they can find each other. All right, we got Odd Carlo on deck. We got 8 people, 2 likes. I'm going to get into the story shortly. If you have any questions, comments, if you want any topics to be touched on a future live stream, please go ahead and share those in the comments or in the live stream today. I will be on 10 a.m. each day this week, Pacific time. That will be changing around, I believe, May 10th. I'll be headed back, but we don't need to get in that. That's 2 weeks away, right? Who wants to look at the future right now? Let's focus on today. Right? Right. Okay, story. Like I said, if you got your story, send it in. Here it is. Okay, Coach. My breakup just happened yesterday, and I've been crying all night. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Crying is actually a good thing. It cleans you out. So cry away. And if you have to do it in private to get it all out, go for it. Crying is not a bad thing. It's a completion of your feelings. Crying used to get someone's attention or get something you want can be manipulative. Genuine crying because you're sad or hurt, get it out. My boyfriend of 7 years and 2 months just left me for another woman. I never even saw it coming. We were doing okay to good this last year. I will admit that our bedroom life had fell off a cliff during COVID, but I thought it was resurrected the last couple months. All right, well, good for you. If you've been together 7 years, there's probably been some ups and downs in your intimacy. You know, intimacy is one of those things. It's different for different people. People can get used to not having it. And I would absolutely encourage individuals that are in long-term relationships, even if you're not in a relationship right now or you're coming out of a breakup, study up on intimacy, but get really aware of what you like, what turns you on, and how you're gonna integrate that in your next relationship. Because a lot of times, sometimes people in the bedroom will do some things or be used to some things with a past partner, and then someone will reject them or say no, and they'll never try it again, and it'll just transpire into bad sex life. And that's never good. And a lot of times people in long-term relationships, because they're so entangled and woven together with money, with living together, with loving each other unconditionally, they kind of let that go by the wayside. They don't make time for it. Okay, so it says, I will admit that our bedroom life had fell off the cliff during COVID, but I thought it was resurrected the last couple months. We even tried some new things, dressing up in costumes and using toys. It was fun and revigorated us. Well, good for you. Get creative. Then yesterday, he just dropped it on me that he was leaving me and that the woman he was seeing was actually an acquaintance of mine from a woman's group I was once a part of. She's 10 years younger than me, and looking back, I never cared for her. Well, I'm sure you don't care for her now. She was actually kind of trashy. Okay. Trashy. I like that. I personally thought she was on drugs, hard drugs, maybe crystal meth even. Okay. So, hindsight's 2020 now that she's possibly, or she is sleeping with your husband. She's trash and she's on crystal meth. Okay. Does that say something about her? Does that say something about your new ex? He claims that this isn't true, and the worst part, he told me she just couldn't keep the secret. He just couldn't keep the secret longer because she might be pregnant. Wow, I'm surprised you're sending the story into me and not Jerry Springer or Maury Povich. This is crazy. I mean, these are the kinds of things when I used to see this on a TV show, which I didn't watch a lot, but you watch it and you go, how'd you get to this point, right? But it happens. Here's what I will say. You can't get much more clear on where he's at with this thing than the information he's giving you. I'm not going to say you need to love him or give him a pat on the back, but if he's telling you the truth right now, take it, deal with it. And it didn't want to wait, and he didn't want to wait to confirm the results before telling you, but she took a home test and it was positive. I bet he's not even the father. Okay, so here's what's going on right now. This is ground zero, right? You got a lot of emotions going on. You know the person he's been hooking up with, and now you're going through the things to cut her legs out. She's trashy. She's on drugs. She's probably having a kid out of wedlock. The list goes on. I'm with you. And you know what? If you want to do a live coaching session, you got to air this stuff out, okay? All your dark feelings about that, and that's okay. But at some point, you're going to have to come back to the breakup of a man that you loved and accept the fact that you're going to break up, whether it's with this piece of trash or not. He went on to tell me that he still loved me, but he couldn't lie any longer. Well, that's kind of him. He admitted that he had cheated before, but it never meant anything to him. But wow, this guy's in full-on confession here. But now looking at having a kid changed everything, as we both are in our 40s and I've never been able to have kids. This just broke my heart even more. Well, it just gets thicker, right? When it rains, it pours. This is tough. This is a tough one. There's a lot of twists and turns in here in one day to unload all this on you. I feel angry and sad. I'm not sure what to do to get through this. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Number one, take it one day at a time. Number two, book a live coaching session with myself. Let's fully unpack this in a couple hours to get everything out on the table. And this is going to take some time. It is going to hurt, but accept that. I have a couple techniques with hypnosis, a tapping technique that can really help with this beyond just talking about it. But that would be my first step. And accept the fact that you're crying and you're upset. That's okay. Don't fight it. Okay? Make sure you're getting your exercise right now. Go for walks. Get out of the house. This is going to be tough. And then you're going to find a friend, family, or colleague that's really close to you, that's of admirable character that you can lean on. One or two of those people. Don't go to the village. Just find the ones that count. Okay? A part of me wants to sit down and talk to this girl. I've already done some investigating, and her mutual friends told me she runs through guys like nothing, and that she never stays with that one long. But is very good at getting and attracting new men. It's shocking because I don't find her attractive at all. Okay, so this is natural. You know who the individual is. You're really upset. So now you're stripping them down and you're going on and on about, how bad they are. Okay. What I would say is, how is this serving you and how is this going to help you? At some point, you got to cut off the information lines and deal with your own feelings. Okay. And the fact that you don't find her attractive. Well, here's the thing about women that aren't attractive that get men. There's something else that attracts men that's not always attraction. And those women usually give that away quite easily. That's the reality. We also share some bills and the lease on the house. I'm not sure how to even sort that out. We'll separate that from the relationship and just know you're going to get through that. Numbers are really easy to sort out. It's like, this is what we owe each other. Be as fair as possible. He said on his way out yesterday to let him know when I'd be away from the house so he could pick up his things. Minor the drama. This hurt me. Well, it should hurt you. That's natural. See what's happening. She writes on, it's all happening so fast. I don't know where to start. A friend told me he'll be back, but he's just whooped right now. Well, here's the bottom line is, this isn't a relationship you're going to work on. Okay, you're not working on this. This isn't something you're going to get back together. This is something that you need time to process. And you're just starting that right now. And that's why I said book a live coaching session with myself. I'm a professional when it comes to this. If you don't find it useful and helpful, I'll give you your money back. But the bottom line is let's start there. Okay. This is not going to be easy, but here's the clarity. You're not going to work. You're not going to get this guy back. You're starting from a point of day by day, I'm going to deal with this. And I'd add one more thing. Stay off all social media and stop being detective about this woman. The road back to getting you back is one day at a time and focus on yourself and get some outside help. That's for a start, because you said this just happened yesterday. But regardless of how that paternity test came out and whatnot, you're not probably getting back with this individual anytime soon. And you got to accept that first. You don't have to like it. You can be angry. You can be upset. That's completely fine. It's completely normal. You can take shots at this woman privately with your friends and all that other stuff. That's fine. But you have to accept that you're broken up first and foremost. Accept that you're angry. Accept that you're sad. That's the first road getting through this rather than around it or backpedaling. See the difference? I can help you with that. Okay, so I don't think I'd want him back, but some part of me does. Help me get some clarity here, please. Absolutely. Well, of course, right now, you'd love to be able to reject him the way he's rejected you, because people want you to feel what they feel. So deep down inside, you'd like the opportunity to tell him, you know what? After what you told me, no. You're not going to get that opportunity right now. If you do believe in karma, he probably has some coming to him. What's the alternative to not believing in karma? Some people say, I don't believe in karma. Okay. Do good, get good. Focus on doing good yourself. Now, here's the thing. Your clarity's there. He's told you the truth from what I mean, why would he make this up? Unfortunately, the truth hurts right now. But I respect the fact that he stepped up and said, like, this is what's going on. I'm not going to play games anymore. He also said he's cheated on you before. Now, you have to ask yourself what you're willing to accept, right? The fact that you want him back, but you don't want him back, that's completely natural. You were with this individual for 7 years and they dropped this on you. You gotta book a coaching session with myself or someone else or a therapist and really dive into this early. Okay, don't put that off. I just talked to a guy yesterday that's 9 days out of a live breakup. I said, it's good that you got this started now. Right away, he felt better. We had a 2-hour session. We did some tapping. I did some hypnosis at the end. He was like, wow, how does this work? I don't understand. I've been doing it a little while. I've gotten some tools along the way. And the tapping technique, emotional freedom technique, really works. Really works. Takes about 10, 15 minutes. All right, really quick, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes in the chat or the live stream. We got nine on deck, 3 likes. It's appreciated. Does anyone have any questions? Questions or comments? I'm going to give you a few minutes. Mad Inventor, can you talk about the emotional technique you just mentioned? How does it work? I'm probably going to do a class on it, Mad Inventor, but I will tell you there's many different forms of it. This book's a great book, The Tapping Cure. I'll probably review it one day, but Roberta Themes, The Tapping Cure. This is a good start. There's also something, it also goes by EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique. You can look up EFT, and rather than go on and on about it in the show, you can go do your own stuff. But basically where it starts, and thanks for asking, Mad Inventor. I'm going to, like I said, I'll probably get some Zoom groups together, maybe 10 or 12 people, and we can do it in a group. You'd say something like, even though I hate my ex right now, I'm okay. Even though I hate my ex right now, I'm okay. And then you'd go, hate my ex, hate my ex, Hate my ex. Hate my ex. Now, you might be going, what the hell is this, dude? Especially if you're the mad inventor, right? These are meridian points for acupuncture. Okay. These are energetic points. Top of the head. There's about 10 or 15 of them. I'm just showing you a few of them. When you go through these points, you activate some things. Now, when you get a statement like, even though I hate my ex right now, I'm okay. So what you're doing with that, bud, is you're saying it's okay to hate her or him. Now, why is that important? You need to accept that that's how you feel. Now, on the flip side, a lot of times hate is a negative thing. So you're fighting it. You're saying, I don't want to hate him. I don't want to hate him. I don't want to hate her. I don't want to hate her. And so your mind can't settle down. Your energy system can't settle down. But when you just focus on, even though I hate my ex, I'm okay. Even though I hate my ex, I accept myself. Even though I hate my ex, I forgive myself. Now you're locking in energetically that it's okay that you hate them right now. And then at the end of it, the tapping technique, you go, and you let it all out and you feel like, wow, it's a little less. It's a little less. On a scale of 1 to 10, it went from a 10 of hate to a 5. Then you do the round one more time. Now, this is something you can do on your own, but I highly recommend with a group or a partner. It feels like it works better. And I'm saying that as someone, as a teacher of it, a practitioner of it, because if I'm doing it with you, I'm right along with you, accepting that you hate that person. Now, the value in that is the whole problem that you're having energetically is that you're not accepting your feelings. Now, do you have any friends out there that you're like, God, this guy just doesn't give a shit about anything, and they're less stressed? It's because they complete their emotions. Sometimes they can lose friends over it. Sometimes they can piss people off because people don't like that. But there's also a technique with the tapping where you can go through these energy points and tell the story about the breakup. You can tell me everything you're feeling. Sometimes what I do with people, if they're really upset, especially post-breakup, but this can be used for other things like work things. And folks, right now I'm doing a lot of work with past clients that's outside of breakups, especially with hypnosis, which is basically a form of guided meditation or lucid dreaming. They all weave together. So a lot of times people that have guided meditation and stuff like that, it's related to hypnosis. Okay, it's the same technique. Getting back to the EFT, the tapping technique, what's great about it is it's extremely easy to do. It's effective. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't take a whole lot out of you. But the results are, they claim it's 80% accurate. I don't know. I haven't done that questionnaire. I know with my clients, it works right away. And it's a modality it's just highly useful. So I'll do some more videos on that. What I find that works is if we do coaching first and then do the tapping after and get to the idea of what the real problems are, it makes the tapping more effective. Another part of the tapping that's really interesting is the more emotion you have, the better it works. Absolutely, Matt Inventor. Does EFT help with anxiety and perhaps unhealthy thoughts? It helps with PTSD. It's used for that quite a bit. Anxiety, it works actually really quickly. So, for example, let's say a good example of a simple thing that EFT works for is I can't sleep. A lot of times you can't sleep because you keep saying I can't sleep, and you're fighting the fact that you can't sleep. You're not accepting that you can't sleep. So you'd say, even though I can't sleep right now, I'm okay. Even though I can't sleep right now, I'm okay. And what you do is you just relax your system and accept the fact I can't sleep right now. And there's stuff out there that even if you, like, let's say that you can't sleep, you're actually better off getting up, reading a book or watching TV and accepting I can't sleep right now than fighting it. Because what you're doing is you're putting your mind in a ping pong game of I can't sleep, I want to sleep. I can't sleep, I want to sleep. Where you'd be better off just going down the highway of I can't sleep right now. Then your mind just goes, this is the whole problem we have right now. A lot of the problems with anxiety and stuff is the fact that our mind's fragmented, and that has to do with the internet right now. We're constantly divided in our views and our attention, and so we can't stay on a track. It's like, I can't sleep right now. Accept it. You go through the tapping method, and then you go, can't sleep, can't sleep, can't sleep. You go through it, you'll probably fall asleep. The other end of that is guided meditation is a really, really good form of, and this is where I'm going to start a channel with guided meditations, which are a form of hypnosis. Everyone knows, just like exercise, yeah, I should meditate. But they all look at meditation as being, I need to be in Tibet, and I need to, like, those things are good. I've done yoga before. I've done that style of meditation. Sticking with it's kind of difficult. A guided meditation with some music in the background is actually a lot more doable for people. It's available on YouTube. There's different people doing it now. And so the combination of some guided meditations daily, where you don't have to stop thinking, is a great alternative to trying to sit in the park and quiet your mind. And so I'm going to be offering that soon. Matt Eventer, if you want to do some work with the EFT, if you have a really big issue with anxiety, I can help you with that. We have to find out what it is that brings that up. Anxiety is future-based. Depression is past-based. You usually focus a lot on the future with anxiety. People that have anxiety are actually a lot of times high achievers because they're always planning ahead. Thanks for the question. All right, let me get to the, go ahead and book a session. Go to rightmac.com. We can deal with your anxiety outside of a breakup. It's totally fine. My best friend is dating my ex-best friend, which makes it difficult to avoid my ex. My best friend is dating my ex's best friend, because I'm a little confused. My best friend is dating my ex's best friend. Okay, got it. Which makes it difficult to avoid my ex. Happy for my buddy, but I can't think of being in the same place as my ex. Well, I mean, this is simple, bud. Thanks for asking, Odd Carlo. Hang out with your best friend without the girl he's seeing. Now, the other part of this that would be difficult is if your best friend's feeding you information about your ex because he's got a landline on it, right? Tell him you don't want to know anything about her, but you could still hang out with your buddy. Just don't hang out with your buddy and his girlfriend. I mean, actually, to me, my best friends that are males, that are guys, I like to have guy time. I don't want to hang out with you and your girlfriend. I can, but I would prefer to just hang out with my buddy and have guy talk. So let's not make it more difficult than it needs to be. Just tell your buddy when you hang out, just you and him. And for the moment, if he's got any intel on your ex, don't tell you because it just hurts you. You don't like when you have an ex and you're like all in on an ex and you're done and it hurts, you don't want any information. But besides that, the secondhand information gets misconstrued. All I can think of, if my friend decided to want me to hang out with them, is to give her the silence treatment. Don't even put yourself in that situation, dude. Don't even put yourself in that situation. That's a situation that could be avoided, and there's nothing wrong with avoiding that situation. It's like people always tell me that go to universities. Oh, I'm gonna run into her on my path. Take a different path. Oh, it'd take me longer to get to class. So what? Oh, I don't want to avoid her. Well, what's the alternative for you to feel extremely awkward and uncomfortable with someone that you were with for 5 years and you don't want to see? Take a different fucking path, dude. And look at, and this is how you reframe it. Oh, if I take a longer path, I'll get some extra exercise and maybe I'll meet some other girls. After from 2 years ago telling me I was pathetic and not much of a great guy when I was the one that was trying to make time for her every weekend and initiate conversation while she gave me a bare minimum to our relationship. It was sort of 80-20 effort for each other. So, I mean, so what's the purpose now in caring about that? That's one person's opinion. She doesn't speak for all women. Odd Carlo, if someone said that to me, if they were like, oh, you don't make enough of an effort, I'd say, okay. You don't do this, you don't do that. Why even be in a fucking relationship then? If you put in 80-20 of the relationship effort, then you're better off without them. I was pathetic and not much of a great guy. Did you find that to be true, or is that a reflection of her? There's a difference. Sometimes someone will give you a negative comment and you really look at it. If you're at a good time in your life, you're like, you know what? A lot of people have told me that before. It might be true. On the other hand, one individual says it in a bitter moment that has issues with themselves, discard it. Consider the source. Gay in NYC, how you doing? Thanks for being a loyal follower, my friend. If you have any topics you want me to touch on, let me know. What makes us want somebody back that wasn't good for us in the first place? Now, that's a fucking great question. Thanks, bud. Well, it's different for different people, first of all. I'd have to know your story. But here's a variety, a garden variety to that answer. For example, one of the most common ones for males that have some kind of an ego, okay? Which there's a lot of men that have a big ego, but you understand where I'm coming from on that? They're with a woman that lies. They're with a woman that talks down to them. They're with a woman that might do drugs. The list goes on. And you go, why are you with them? Well, I love her. And then you talk more and more, and it's like she's highly attractive, and it's the best sex I ever had. That's one example. So there's out of the bad treatment, you're getting a secondary gain of something that means a lot to you, that's feeling based. So another example would be you want somebody back that wasn't good for you. Another secondary gain. They were rich and you were poor. They're rich and you're middle class and you like a silver spoon. How many of those are out there? Right? Like, and someone will go, oh, they're just a gold digger. No, that's important to them. They grew up poor. They're with someone rich. And in the wake of that, and by the way, I think one of my shows this week that's going to be really interesting, if you guys want to tune into that, is about how to get a rich guy, or how to date someone rich. Okay? And the reason I'm talking about that is because this person's horrible. Someone's dating someone that's rich, man or woman, and they're complaining about them. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about later on in this week in this show about dating someone rich. A lot of times people that are rich, they are privileged by their riches or their money to have convenience, control, and some power. That's what money does for people. So when they're in a relationship, if you don't follow suit, if you don't do what they like to do because they're paying, if you don't abide by their rules because they're used to people being under them, they're used to managing people, it's going to be a rough relationship, or they'll discard you. So when you say someone might complain about that person, oh, he's so controlling, he's so this, he's so that. Why are you with them? The money. There's a secondary gain that means a lot to you that'll make you put up with the shit, right? That means more than you think. And until you unpack it with myself or someone else, and a lot of times that example I told you about, a guy will complain, and then I'll ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your intimacy? They're like a 12, right? A way to a man's heart is his stomach. A way to a man's head is his fill in the blank. Can you talk about emotional technique? I did. Got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to give people a little bit of time because I think there's a little bit of a delay when the actual comments come in. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time because I had to cut the show short yesterday. In the meantime, let me check this. So tomorrow is how can I marry a rich man? Relationships with rich men. This is going to be a good topic. Thursday will be how can I get a hot woman? Relationships with beautiful women. Then and Friday will be the anatomy of a breakup. It's deeper than the present moment. So those are going to be the topics coming up. But that kind of ties in with gay and NYC's what makes us want somebody back that wasn't good for us. There's something extremely important that individual offers that provides a feeling. I was just talking about how sensitive people have feelings. And really, when someone comes to me and they go, oh, what's my chances in the breakup? Well, how did you leave it? But also, if overall you made that individual feel good in your interactions with them more times than not, then there's a good chance they might pop their head back in the door. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes today. All right, folks, it's been good. It's been grand. Thanks for riding. If you have any comments in the comments, put them out there. Tomorrow, like I said, how to date a rich man, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll get into it. Thanks for joining. It's Curtains.